So, I'm going to be traveling again. Okay, so I'll give some context to what I'm doing. So, today I'm leaving to go to Montreal, Quebec to go see the solar eclipse pass over the city tomorrow. So, today I'm going to be traveling from here in Winter Garden, Florida to Orlando Sanford Airport, and then from there go to Plattsburgh, New York, and then from Plattsburgh take Amtrak to go into Montreal. So today's just gonna consist of a lot of traveling, and I gotta leave within the next 10 minutes. The only thing I was waiting on is just downloading some movies for my travels. Other than that, I'm all set. And since this time around I don't have a car with me, I'm traveling light and just bringing everything in this backpack that I got recently. And I also made sure to grab my passport before I did anything else because I wouldn't be able to survive without it on this trip. Also, this. It's actually a little chillier this morning than I was expecting. I think this is actually pretty good since I'm wearing a heavier jacket right now. Because Plattsburgh and Montreal are gonna be chilly. This is also the first time that I'm leaving Florida since I started this program. So believe it or not, this is the first time that I'm flying since 2016. And this is going to be a very interesting experience because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Oh, expansion project, March 2001. So I guess this airport used to be smaller. Looks pretty nice though. Honestly, going through airport security is actually pretty smooth. But granted, I haven't been on a flight since 2016, so it kind of makes sense. All right, Plattsburgh. 7:30, on time. Let's go. No matter where I go, Disney follows. My first expense on this trip, $4 airport Powerade. Honestly, in any other circumstance, I would not be paying this much for a drink, but I'm thirsty. Bonjour, I'm going to Plattsburgh. I'm about to get on this sky bus. Honestly, I love walking through these corridors.
I guess this isn't gonna work.
It smells like apple pie in here.
If you've ordered a wheelchair here in Plattsburgh,
Please remain comfortably seated and
Bienvenue à Plattsburgh. The good thing about this, I don't need to go to livraison des bagages. Now I can do transport à sol. Now that I'm here, I don't have any problem randomly speaking en français. Oh, Canada is an hour away. Où est la Canada? So a stop that I wanted to make here today in Plattsburgh before I took the train to Montreal, I wanted to, oh, it's cold. I'm further north. Anyways, as I was saying, I wanted to go to Stewart's shop because it's one of the staples of coming up to upstate New York. So at first I was thinking of getting an Uber, but honestly, I might just consider walking. Since I've been in Florida for the past 3 months, this is throwing me for a loop. I haven't experienced this cold since January. Oh boy. I found my first signs, quite literally, of Canada. Autoroute 15 and I-87 down that way. It's also pretty funny that while everyone's driving out of here, I'm one of the few people that's actually walking on the side of the road. You know what? If I could just save a little bit of money, it's not a problem to me. I need the exercise anyway. In all honesty, I'm gonna consider this a hike. I haven't done something like this in a while and it feels so good. Welcome to Plattsburgh. Alright, so I'm coming up on the Richard S. Perry Bridge. I have never heard of this thing before, but here is the Saranac River. I miss this so much. This is beautiful. All right, stop number 1 on my trip, Stewart's. So, if you're not familiar with it, it's a chain of gas stations here in upstate New York, and they have a lot of food offerings too, and a lot of specialty things too. So this one is maple French toast, cold brew coffee, because Canada. Cheeseburgers, because why not? And donuts. You know, after my flight from Sanford to here, I deserve it. La dernière fois, j'ai visité Montréal. C'était en novembre 2022. J'ai excité pour la retourner. Definitely worth a stop. All right, now from here to the Amtrak station. All right, like any true New Yorker, you gotta walk a couple of blocks north, and then you'll get there. Oh, let's build a staircase to the river. All right, I don't feel like it. Hey, look at that, Route 9. You know, if I keep going in this direction, it's gonna lead me right next to the border. But then if I go down this way, it'll lead me towards home. But no, I'm going back to Florida after this. Well, I made it to the Amtrak station, but my train doesn't get here for another 3 hours, so I'm just gonna go over towards Lake Champlain. Honestly, this was not how I was expecting to start my day, but I'm not really complaining. I love this. So, this area right here is Cumberland Bay, which is part of Lake Champlain, and that's still part of Plattsburgh. But then a little bit over here is South here of Vermont, which I actually visited previously back in 2021. And then I also came over into Plattsburgh to go to Walmart. This is so cool though, just to kind of get a different look of it in the early spring. It's not something I've done before. I love this. You know, I think this is almost just as intense as Kali River Rapids at Animal Kingdom. Oh, here comes the big one. Okay, I'm gonna get off the dock. One thing I didn't realize about Lake Champlain and Cumberland Bay is the aquatic life that's around here. So I came across this thing right before I got onto the dock, but I didn't pay attention to it. But then it caught my eye because for all the fishing stuff, it happens between Vermont, New York, and Quebec. But there's only a little sliver of Quebec that you're able to fish in on this water. So here is Lake Champlain. I'm guessing this is Vermont. And then, where's the Canadian border? The border is right there, and then it continues up north as the Riviere Richelieu. Well, I got to get to Montreal one way or another. Let's go. It's a nice breeze from the lake. I like it. Man, I can't see any trains. So my train to Montreal leaves in just a little bit over an hour. The one that's currently going by is actually going to New York City. So I'm almost there. Oh, this is so comfortable. Anyways, I should be crossing the border around 4:30-ish. New York Thruway's up there. And now I'm in Canada. Getting into Montreal a half hour earlier today. Nice. So right now we are in Notre Dame de Mount Carmel, Quebec, and I decided to go to the Amtrak's Cafe and decide to get a hot dog and a Sprite. Totally worth the $9. This is the best hot dog I've had on a train. And this is the only time that I've ever done that, and it's the best experience. Didn't finish my movie on the plane. I always like seeing Canadian suburbs because this is a site that I usually don't get to see. All right, we got to Gare St. Lambert, and we have just one more stop before we get to Gare Central in Montreal. And that right there, mes amis, is the St. Lawrence River. Honestly, I kind of dig the dingy look over here. Welcome aboard. Just got off. I'll be honest, I'm kind of digging the vibes of this place. Reminds me of Toronto's Central Station. I don't remember if that's the name for it, but that's the closest thing that I can think of at the moment. All right, off to Couche-Tard and off to my B&B. My B&B is in Hochelaga-Maisonneuve, which is in the same neighborhood as the last place I stayed at. It's a little closer to the Olympic Stadium. This is gonna be nice. Found it. All right, I fulfilled the first thing that I wanted to do while I was here. Get ketchup chips and, surprisingly enough, Arnold Palmer. God, I miss this place. You know what screams tourist in Canada? Carrying a giant ass white backpack around. Finally got one of those Metro cards. So something totally in character for me. I started talking to this random group of 20-somethings on the Metro, and I said to them, this is probably the most amount of English speakers I've ever seen in Montreal. And it turned out they were from New York, and they're also here for the Eclipse. That's pretty funny. You know, having not been in this city for over a year, I'm surprised I've been able to find my way around like I have. It's pretty good. Passez par le jardin? Okay? Huh? Où est le jardin? So you know at Disney World where they have their monorail transportation system and it has the announcement that goes, please stand clear of the closing doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. In Montreal, they have the STM, which is their transportation network, and their opening line is, Le STM vous souhaite bienvenue à bord. I just memorize the most interesting topics. It honestly doesn't look like much from the outside, but this is cozy. I like it. I'm really exhausted, but I want to eat those chips before I go to sleep. I'm gonna do it. Update. I ate the chips, had the iced tea, and now I'm gonna go to sleep. See you tomorrow.